I'm not. How do I get this view? Hold on. All right. All right. Today I have the great man, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Kingston, as some people may call him, John Paul Kingston. But he's a great man, and I'm very grateful to have him on the Master Builder channel and just to talk with him a little bit about what he's doing, about his intentions, and how he's changing the world right now. John, how we doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good,
It's a
man.
joy and an honor to be here.
It's a joy and honor to be here. We had some technical difficulties, so we're starting this over. So he's already been dropping gems on me all day, and so I want to give him a chance just to I was about to say express yourself, but introduce yourself to the people, and then we can hop right back into that conversation. But John, just tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do.
Awesome. Yeah. Everybody, my name is John Paul. Originally from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's how I know Preston, and have been traveling all around the US and even around the world. And am now currently in Denver, Colorado. I am a health and transformation coach with the focus of helping people nourish their body, their mind, their spirits, and tapping into the deepest expression of ourselves, the fullest expression of ourselves, so we can live fully, live human, and I think ultimately live in our joy and be free.
Live in our joy and be free. So, John, you said expression, the fullest expression of ourselves. Now, when I think of expressions, I think of face. But what do you mean by the fullest expression of ourselves?
Yeah, for me, growing up, I suppressed a lot of myself. I didn't want to bring attention to who I was, to what I do, to the things that were on my mind and in my heart, for fear of what other people would think of me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Maybe they're being bullied as a kid, or their parents are telling them, hey, don't bring too much attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what that has done for a lot of us as society, and for myself, is it's suppressed who we are. And if we are suppressing ourselves, we are going to depress ourselves, because the opposite of expression is depression. And one way to alleviate maybe the pressure within you, because I had a lot of pressure growing up. I had this pressure to be a better athlete, to express myself, to have conversations that were more in depth with people, but I wouldn't allow that expression to come out. So if we have pressure within ourselves, the way to alleviate that is through expression.
Yeah.
And whether that's in voicing, what's really on your heart. For me, dance is a really great way to express myself. Movement.
Dance.
Yeah. Writing. I love to write. I love to create. I love to, just put ideas onto paper and allow that expression of myself to come out. Because, okay, go ahead.
No, well, I'm just saying, that expression, I feel like there's a lot of vulnerability that comes with that expression. How did you get to that space where you were able to be vulnerable with yourself enough to be able to express yourself? Because you talk about fears and everybody else and stuff like that, but that expressing, there's a lot of vulnerability there. So how did you get there?
Yeah, so much of my journey actually started by playing football with you and being an athlete. And I ended up tearing my ACL, MCL, meniscus my senior season. And this put me on a journey of self-reflection and self-healing, and being a better athlete. And at first it was all physical. It was like, okay, how can I improve my physical performance? How can I heal faster? But I realized that I had tapped into something much more physical while I was in college. And I knew that there was something more. I studied exercise science and sports psychology. And then when I graduated, I was like, okay, this is a great foundation and stuff that we need to know. But I realized there was a deeper level to it. And I started studying holistic lifestyle coaching and working with emotions. I remember having an instructor telling me that if you can get to the emotional level with people, you can typically heal or help them heal much faster than through just the physical level. And that like clicked. I was like, oh, whoa, what am I holding on emotionally that's not allowing me to maybe heal? And so went down that path. And I remember I was taking this course on emotional connection and maybe like even suppressing our emotions. And I'm in class, and the memory of being an athlete, of tearing my ACL, MCL, meniscus was coming up. And there was an emotion that I hadn't allowed myself to feel from that event. I held on to a lot of animosity for people that helped create that event, that were a part of that event.
Mm-hmm.
And I lacked my own inner confidence to say, that's okay. I'm still strong. I'm still healthy. I'm still vibrant. I'm still expressive. And in that moment, I realized more than ever that the emotions that we hold on to will manifest itself as pain in our body. If we don't allow ourselves to emote it, to put that energy into motion, it will store itself as disease, pain, dysfunction. It can. And it's oftentimes arguably 90% of why people are potentially suffering. So my point is I learned, oh, in order for me to be the best version of myself, I have to be willing to be vulnerable to express what's really on my heart. Because if I don't and I suppress it, I'll end up being, I'll depress myself.
I think the word is feel, right? Feel the emotion.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I feel like we're always out here at war. Business is war. And sometimes we don't. At least in my experience, I don't always make time to feel things.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta, all right, I gotta keep on moving forward. I gotta keep moving forward. And we've done a lot of work together. I remember one time you coming in my house when my son was born, and you were doing this and looking at me and looking at my balances, and was like, it looks like you're feeling some things here. And I had some friends come, and you looked at them, and you were picking out stuff in them. And so what training did you go through to get all this? I know you said you studied it, but I think you're so much at a deeper level than most people are at. What did you learn, or what did you consume that helped you learn these things? And how can other people learn to feel a little bit more and take the time to feel a little bit more
Yeah,
in our busy world?
it's a great question. Yeah, it's been a journey for myself. I studied through the Czech Institute, and studied holistic lifestyle coaching. And this gave me an array of skills and knowledge in physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. And that led me to the next training. I was at the time, I still am somebody who constantly wants to invest wisdom, experience, knowledge from other people in the forms of training, and ended up taking this course called Voila. And a lot of it is subconscious communication. So learning how to communicate with our bodies through muscle testing or kinesiology. And a lot of that is asking a question and feeling a response based on a yes or no, a strong or weak response. And through that, at the beginning, it was very physical. And then through the third training that I did, it was working with more energy, emotions, the different centers of our body, the chakras, as some people will call it, or energy centers.
Yeah.
And if somebody, I just realized that there was so much more that I was not aware of, and that I think most people aren't tapped into or are unaware of, because it's not really normal in our society. And so I think things that people can do just in the beginning is to get quiet with themselves, and like we were talking about earlier, just putting your hand on your heart and feeling the beat of your heart, taking a moment to be present, to feel this physiological response that maybe we
Masterpiece.
take for granted every single day.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when we were talking earlier, the thing that you said was gratitude.
Yeah.
And like you know, from in my experience, um, the practice of gratitude really revolutionized my life. You know, when we were building Men with Dreams, at first we were, you know, it was tight, and we didn't, you know, there was a lot of lack energy there, and to just be grateful for your breath, you know, grateful for how our bodies work, and we don't I don't tell myself to breathe. I don't tell my heart to beat, you
Yeah.
know. And so with your gratitude practices, what does that look like for you? What does your daily practices look like? Because I know you said you start with gratitude in your prayers.
Yeah. Yeah. Every day I wake up, even while I'm in bed, I'll look out the window if it's light or dark, and I'll just start thanking life for what's available, what's possible, for the bed under my body, for the roof over my head, for the air that I get to breathe. And then I'll typically sit down into a meditation and a prayer and just give gratitude for the people into my life, for the food that I get to eat. And when we start to consciously think about these things, it then shifts our emotions. It shifts our state of being to
Mhm.
feeling, wow, the gifts that are around us, the
Yeah.
joy that's here right now. And the more that we tune into that frequency, the more we begin to receive it. Even if our our three-dimensional reality is like, no, you're actually in a lack state right now, or you don't have that much. And when we shift our perspective, because our perspective is everything, when we shift our perspective and see like, hey, I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm here, this is something that will change your life if you can come back to it every single moment, or even more and more moments. And so
Yeah.
I start my day out by just giving gratitude for what's here. And then when I go to bed, I also give gratitude for my day. When I'm eating food, I put my hands over my food and I breathe it in, I charge it up, and I say, thank you, God, for this life force, for this energy.
Mhm.
And so just taking more time, I do ice baths almost every day, cold showers.
I'm
And
not there yet, John. I'm not there yet. I'm
and
working
when
on
I'm
it.
in those moments, man, I'm giving gratitude. I'm just like,
Yeah.
thank you for allowing me to be here, to be peaceful in the face of chaos.
Yeah.
And so those are some of my daily practices when it comes to gratitude.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know you're a transformation coach. You talk a lot about nourishment. What is the transformation side of that? How do you help people transform their lives, transform their bodies, and transform their minds?
Yeah. So much of it is working with people individually and figuring out where they're at,
Mhm.
what are they doing on a daily basis, taking inventory of what's happening in their life, and seeing what their goals are to maybe shift. So it's a very vast and personalized process. And at the same time, nutrition is a foundation.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think a lot of people are misguided in,
Mhm.
and and also truly lacking nutrition, because our food supply isn't as healthy as it once was. And so one of my key focuses is to nourish people on a deeper level
Mhm.
through high density superfoods and minerals and nutrition. And when we start to really feed our body, our cells, our cellular system then we begin to take stuff away. We're like, actually, that's not really good for me. I don't feel good when I put this thing in me that's lacking nutrition or that is toxic. It has toxic compounds like herbicides and pesticides or tons of fat and seed oils. And so the foundation is to, just dump nutrition into the body. And this will help us renegotiate our relationship to food, because then we start to seek out more nutrient rich foods. Like the body, like I talked about earlier, well, I didn't really mention this, but working with the body and subconscious communication, the body knows what's best for us.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes it's our mind that gets in the way through conditioning or nurturing as a child and bad habits. And so when we begin to implement good habits consciously, then our body starts to tune into, oh yeah, this is good for me. It's a muscle we have to build.
Yeah.
And so by doing this, we renegotiate our relationship, and the body starts to seek out the best of the best because it knows that it's going to feel the best of the best.
That's good. The body starts to seek it out. What are some of the biggest myths that you see when it comes to health wise and the stuff that they tell us about our health? What are some of the biggest things that you see that are not untrue, and what are three things that you wish people knew?
Yeah.
Three things that are untrue and three things you wish people knew.
I think we put way too much weight on calories in, calories out.
Okay.
Just focusing on calories in, calories out. You might lose some weight, with a calorie restriction diet. However, when we are restricting calories, we go into a stress response. And anytime
we're not feeding it, our muscles need to be fed.
Exactly. And so the key for me is quality. What is the quality of what you're putting into your body? And we as humans are self-healing generators and mechanisms and complex machines. And so when we put ourselves in an optimal environment within, through feeding and supplying ourselves with the proper nutrition and minerals and vitamins from real food, that's when the weight starts to go off. That's when we begin to heal our hormones, or we begin to balance out our hormones, or we begin to reverse heart disease and diabetes and cancer, because the key to that is nourishing the body, detoxifying, allowing the body to detox. And once the body is nourished and detox, then we can repair. We can come back into that self-healing generator state. So
that was a good answer.
One myth is calories in, calories out. And then I think another thing is really looking at the toxic compounds on our food and in our food. I wish more people knew about the harm and the detriments of herbicides and pesticides and fungicides that is allowed to be sprayed on our food. The reason a lot of these compounds are sprayed on our food, like, for example, glyphosate. For those of you who don't know what glyphosate is, it's the active ingredient in Roundup, which is the weed killer that's sprayed on 80% of our food, 90%. It's growing up in the Midwest. It's in 99% of the air.
Really?
And so I talk to women all the time who have PCOS or endometriosis, and they're now linking it to the contaminated water and food, because these herbicides and pesticides go in and they destroy our bacteria, our gut bacteria. The reason they are on the market and they are allowed to be sprayed in our food is because they kill a bacterial pathway. So essentially they destroy bacteria, and these bacteria that are in bugs and all these critters that want to eat the food that they're spraying on, it kills the bacteria, so it kills those little pests. Well, we as humans, we have bacteria within us. We're
Yeah.
made of bacteria.
Yeah.
And so if we destroy the gut bacteria, now we're starting to cause dysfunction in our body. And this gut bacteria that helps us digest food is now gone, and we're no longer absorbing the nutrition. We're basically just passing it through, or the body is storing it as fat because it's stressed out. So I know I dropped a lot on that too.
That was a lot, but I think I think that's part of the reason well, I'm going to bring in Purium right now. That's part of the reason I joined your Purium team. And I encourage everybody who is watching this, if you really want to learn more about your health and learn more about the things that John is talking about, he has a team with Purium Health, which is one of the supplement companies that we partner with. And he'll go into depth about all of those things. They really have educated and enlightened me a lot about the harmful things that we can put in our body that we don't even know about. And I want to encourage you. The products that I take, my pregnant girlfriend, when she was pregnant, we were on Power Shake the whole time. And now that she's getting back into shape, we're on the super aminos and the Power Shake again. And I take the Apothecary and the Biomedic. And so they're great products and they're nutrient rich. And so as people are on their journeys to transformation, tap in with John. John he's a fantastic coach in that space, and really as you can see, is very educated and very knowledgeable about the different things that can be put in your body, the different things that can be put on your food, and giving people tools to be healthier. So we got to wrap up here soon, John. I want one quote from you that sticks out to you that you use to motivate you and inspires you.
First one that comes to mind is get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Why does that stick out to you, John?
I think growth is at the edge of our comfort zone. And oftentimes in our society, we got everything that we need. We no longer have to go through seasons of drought to, make sure that we have enough food to live and survive. We have, couches and comfortable beds. We have heat and air conditioning. We suppress ourselves because it's a little more comfortable to not talk about the things that we're really feeling and are on our heart. And I think the more that we consciously put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, the more we're able to say, oh, that's not that bad. That's one of the reasons I practice ice baths and cold plunges every day, is because it's challenging, it's uncomfortable. And after I do it, I'm like, I feel amazing. I'm so glad that I did that. So one of the reasons why I took up the opportunity to first speak on stage with Men with Dreams, because I knew that I was uncomfortable, and I knew the thing that I feared the most is where the treasures that I'm here to seek are. And so if we continue to lean into those fears and those uncomfortabilities, we're gifted. We're gifted with so much magnificence in life. One thing that's really coming up for me, and something we wanted to talk about is grief. We both recently had a friend tragically pass away, and I went through states of grief. I'm going through states of grief, and it's hard to talk about. And I'm reaching out to my friends. I'm talking to them. I'm saying, hey, what's going on? How are you? This is how I'm feeling, because we as men, we're taught to just be strong, not cry. And I think there's value in that. And I think a true man is somebody who is strong and soft, who can play that dance of being the foundation and also being willing to say, hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all right. And, if there's one thing that I've learned through this grief, And through the presence of our friend Darian and his life that he brought to us, it's to check in on your friends,
Yeah,
just to see how they're doing and not let time pass too long, because life is precious and it's beautiful. And I think if we honor each other and we honor ourselves through being honest and vulnerable, we can I think we can really step into the fullest expression of ourselves.
yeah, man. Yeah. Just want to send prayers out to the Davis family and his daughter and his daughter's mother. Darian was Darian was great. It, it definitely, when you talk about James, his brother, we were very close, taking a lot of trips together, and so just definitely prayers. And we do need to find that balance of grief and strength, but just making sure you tell people you love them and that you appreciate them and checking in on them, because we don't know what people are going through. A lot of us put on these superhero capes, and sometimes we don't know that Clark Kent is dying on the inside. You know what I'm saying? And so just prayers out to them, and thank you for your time today, man. This has been a great call. I'm sure we're going to do another one. I think it would be great to get more in depth on the health products and some of the stuff that we started talking about. But I really appreciate your time and just sharing with us and expressing from your heart and from your knowledge base the things that you know and the things that have driven you and push you to continue to transform people's life. Thank you for what you've done for me as a friend and helping me with the health products and helping transform my life, because I do really feel different when I have those products, and and I'm in the space and we're doing the calls and stuff like that. And so we're building and we're growing, but just where can people find you? How can they get in touch with you? And we'll wrap this up, and thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. And I receive and I reflect it back to you, because you've been an inspiration to my life and a master builder, a master guide. And
You're getting that.
yeah, you guys can find me at JPK Experience on Instagram. John Paul Kingston is my Facebook. Website is under construction right now.
Hey.
It's something that's building and getting put together as we speak. So yeah, you guys can find me there. And if you'd like to just connect, jump on a 20-minute discovery call, we can chat about what's going on, where you are looking for guidance and support, and point you into the right direction. We'll see if it's, if I can support. And again, yeah, I just want to, share my prayers and my love to all those who are grieving and going through this time together. Yeah, Darian was a true inspiration, and he inspired me to live larger because of just how big he lived physically and spiritually. And I'll always hold that to my heart. So
yeah.
Thanks,
So shout out to Lincoln, Nebraska. Shout out to the Lincoln High family and North Star family and everybody who was close to him. And we're praying for y'all. And even though we're not there, we're there with y'all. And we'll see if we can't get in touch with James and his family and do something for him here soon. So thanks, man. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate you. And we're going to continue this conversation. I think this is going to be a good part one. And we'll have part two next on the Master Builder channel on XOG. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And I got some people to send your way for some transformations.
Let's do it, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.